Viewer discretion is advised.
That freeze frame was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, guys.
America.
Will and Max here in America.
Stop buying 40. Please.
This is a rant video about 40 Smith & Wesson, the caliber.
Yeah. It's just not... I just don't like it. A lot of it has to do with the people that own it.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the mythical powers that people put upon it.
One hitter quitter.
It's just not... And I carry a 45, okay? And I'm sick of it. But it's the capacity of a 9 and the power of a 45. It literally is neither of those.
It's the best of both worlds.
No.
It's the best of both worlds. This is how it's the best of both worlds.
It's not.
Here's how it's the best of both worlds. I guarantee you will agree with me when I'm done talking. It has the ballistics of a 9mm and the capacity of a 45. Best of both worlds.
If people,
that simple.
If the owners of 40 actually
knew that,
thought that, I would be fine with people owning 40.
I'm still not okay with 40.
No,
actually.
it's just not very cool. And honestly, 357 is as fad round as it comes. And I hate 40 more than 357 SIG.
I definitely hate 40 more than 350. Here's the thing. Okay, the 40 Smith & Wesson is the exact same thing as the Jeep Compass. Hear me out.
Go on.
Hear me out. I'll tell you a dual story. Okay, we're gonna give a little history lesson about two things: the Jeep and the 10mm. Okay, so the Jeep comes out. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. And for like kind of a long time, in the case of the Jeep, 60 years, 10mm, like 10. There's nothing wrong with it and no one complains and different people use it for different reasons. Then, liberals, or as politically correct gun people say, people of small stature, which means liberals, came along and said, yeah, but why not make this other way worse shitty thing? And it'll solve everyone's problems. Case in point, Jeep Compass. What is the Jeep Compass good at? Can anyone answer that? Good at carrying people? Get a minivan. Good at going off-road? Get a Wrangler. It does nothing. What is the 40 Smith & Wesson good at? Can you hold as much of it as 9mm? No, you cannot. Is it as ballistically good or different in any way from any other handgun round, actually? No. It's not. Same thing.
I had a friend who bought a Glock 23.
They all do.
And the only reason he bought a Glock 23 was because his friend, who was a cop, said, I've seen people shoot through 9mm through a door. It wouldn't get through. But 40, it got through. What? Why? And you know what? Yep. I could understand that like in the 90s, but in this day and age, with the technology we have with, the bullets and everything.
Yeah.
9mm can be just as good as 40.
It is just as good. And I hate to break your heart, but they're both as good as 45.
I don't really care.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a handgun round. It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. So, like, there's no different. Okay, here's my problem with 40. 19-year-old guy, anyone, we'll call him Jeff, because I don't know that many people named Jeff. He walks into a what he thinks is a gun store, but has a big green and white sign over it. It says something like Gander or something or other. All right, so it's
Gander Hills or something.
Yeah, Gander Hills.
Yeah.
This guy, we're gonna call him Jeff, walks into a gun shop to buy his first handgun. Maybe he read an article by Massad Ayub. Maybe he's been inspired in some meaningful way to purchase a tool with which to defend himself and his loved ones. And so naturally, he gets in his Accord that he bought from his aunt and drives this Gander, wherever this might be. And so behind this big, long glass thing at this place, there's going to be a guy, okay? And if you work at Gander Mountain, turn this off because you are going to pipe bomb my house. But behind a counter at this place, there's going to be a man, usually about 31 years old, the kind of guy who wears Crocs to the bar, the kind of guy who still goes to hair salons to get his hair done, but like the $7 ones, the kind of guy that would drive a Jeep Compass. This kind of guy is going to be behind the counter. He's going to be wearing a brown shooter's vest, sort of a green uniform.
Always.
And the guy's going to walk in, and let's say he's read an article by Masad Ayub specifically, and he has come in to purchase a Glock 19 handgun. Glock 19 handgun. But somehow, he leaves with a Glock 23, is it? Yep. Because...
Ported, hopefully.
Christ on a cross. Because... and a Hogue grip sleeve.
Yeah.
Because... people shot with 9mm run away.
That's right.
People shot with 40 die. Mm. And the FBI...
people that get shot with 45 die double hard.
Double hard. The FBI says that 40 is superior to 9.
Boy, that's another thing that I'd like to address. They're going back to 9mm, so all of you go back to
That's another thing I'd like to address, is that the 10mm round was adopted by the FBI after the shooting in the place with the body armor.
Yeah.
To penetrate body armor and to be ballistically superior, because the guys were getting hits on center of mass and the guys weren't going down. It was a big shindig.
Yes.
So 10mm gets adopted. The Smith and Glock, they race, and Glock wins the race, but they adopt the Smith anyway. And so you end up with, I don't remember which 4-number Smith semi-auto handgun it is, but you end up with that big 48-ounce Smith and 10mm. They shoot it out to all the departments. Everybody gets all the FBI people and all the other people who don't matter, and DOD and DEA. They all get the 10mm. They go out and qualify. First time some guy who's 5'4" and dropped out of high school and made it into the academy pulls the trigger, goes, "I can't handle this." Shooting Weaver and like just ball in a cup. I'm sure the whole thing was the old teacup. I don't old teacup, and then it. Oh, we can't. They're gonna hit themselves in the face. We can't give this to people. We can't do this. We can't do. When I was 8 years old, I shot a .38 Special Plus P, probably a Golden Saber. I'm talking 90s here, out of a 6-inch Smith Model 19. Lived to tell the tale. I was 8. I'm 5'7", and as has been previously discussed, I have prissy girl hands. I was 8. I was fine. By the time I was 12, I was shooting full house loads at milk jugs behind my pole barn. I was fine. Prissy girl hands 5'4" guy who later would go on to own a Jeep Compass and work at some gander place, I'm sure. Same guy caused the whole thing. Said, call Smith & Wesson, deal's off. We gotta chop that bitch down.
Yep.
We gotta leave the same bullet in there, half the powder, cut the case in half. We want that.
Hillbilly bullet slingers.
We want that. The 40 is that classic thing. It's the same thing as I remember having round table gun discussions at the gun shop about the fucking government should never have adopted that Beretta. Should have stayed John Moses Browning. It's fine. Okay. They did it, and it's fine. And you know what? Same thing. Oh, you come in here and buy one of them 9mm. You know. 9mm? Guy told me this one time. The girl's gun.
9mm kills the body. 40 kills the soul.
Wow.
No. And you know, another thing that irritates me is the guys that own 40 don't understand the story behind 40. No. They don't understand how it's just a cut down 10mm. And if 40 was so cool, then why do we still have 10mm?
And then it just became, from the first time that guy, who later would work at Gander Hills, perpetuated this notion that the 40 is all of the ballistic advantage of the 45 or the 10mm in a smaller, easier to shoot package. It's bullshit.
There's literally no fact behind
I have shot a Glock 23 recently. Muzzle flip, the slide velocity, everything is way different, and it's all garbage. And the guns run out of steam faster. They break down easier. The chamber pressures are
With the higher pressures, yeah.
way higher. The chamber pressure is stupid. And guys go, well, chamber pressure is such a big deal. Why are you a fan?
No, they say, well, you never shoot that many, so it doesn't
Yeah, you never.
matter.
First of all, you never. Well, okay.
Whatever.
Well, if the chamber pressure is such a problem, how come you say you're a fan of the 41 Remington Magnum and 357 and 44 Magnum? Right. Those are what we call handgun rounds, which are rounds that were designed by a person who knew what they were talking about to shoot out of a handgun. The 40 Smith & Wesson is the ballistic equivalent of the Jeep Compass. It comes back to the Compass. It is an answer to a question that no one asked, that does nothing well, that gets shitty gas mileage, and that girls out of high school buy from buy here, pay here lots. That is the 40 Smith & Wesson in a nutshell. Everybody, oh, the FBI. No one said anything good about the 40 ever. No one likes the 40. And anyone who went along with it was doing a training program for a department that was already invested in 40. And guys have asked me, oh, why do you carry a 9mm? Why don't you get yourself a 40? That's a real man's gun. And I say, because my tax dollars already buy enough of that horseshit ammo, and I'd like to spend my own money on my own. Thanks. And they do. I'm pretty sure the police force of the state that we live in still runs 40s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And last time I knew, they were SIG P226s in 40, which is like a 3-pound, 13-shot 40 Smith & Wesson handgun, or however many rounds it holds. So stupid, and they all are just so hyped up on it.
Yeah. Coming from a 45 owner.
Coming from a guy that carries a 45.
There is nothing wrong with 9mm. I own a 9mm. I carry it all the time. I like 45. I like the history behind 45, And it's a good round, big fat round, going very slowly.
Yep.
Screwing things up. Yes, that's very cool, but 9mm is just as good, and 40 is just stupid.
It solves no problems.
It's a smaller bullet than a 45. It costs more than a 9mm, and you get less capacity. Why? Pick one. Do you want a big bullet? Fine, buy a 45. Do you want more capacity? Buy a 9mm. You want to stop being a vagina? Get a 10mm. I give you the nod for that.
Open carry a Glock 20. If you're serious about your 40 love, open carry a Glock 20 and train with it, and pay your bills.
Yeah, that's the thing they can't.
Train with it. Pay your bills. The round makes no sense. The round makes no sense at all.
I don't like it. I know multiple people that have invested guns. They bought guns. They bought thousands of rounds of ammo, and then they buy a Glock 19 or a Glock 43.
It's something that's aggravating because it's born of ignorance. It's just people who aren't willing to do 5 minutes of research or stop and think about the circumstances around what handgun caliber you choose to carry. Just go, oh, well, it's better. And then the worst guys are the guys who do have that motivation and who still say 40 is better. The guys who have experience and well, I still carry 40. Why? There's no reason. You should not be carrying the 40. It doesn't make any sense. The guy's like, oh, I'm so glad the XDS came out in 40. Oh, man.
It's like when they're going to drop the 43 in 40, call it the 44. I am going to hate
That'll
everything.
be Glock's new handgun. It'd be great. And
it's not cool.
And the big problem, it's a big seller. It's still a big seller.
No one's excited about that. If you want that, buy the Shield.
It does well. 40 sells well. I bet if you ask 10 local gun shops in Midwestern America, if they sell more 19s or more 23s, they're going to say 23s every time.
Yeah, but you know what? You see more 40s online for sale used.
Right.
You know how many times I've seen a Glock 19 used for sale online, whether it be...
Gunbroker, man, is loaded with 40 caliber Glocks.
Yeah.
It's just...
Everyone's selling 40. You know why? Because they smartened up and they like 9mm. It's cheaper and it's easier to shoot and it's
also,
better.
The 9mm is not a be-all, end-all round. It really isn't.
No.
There is no be-all, end-all handgun round, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe 357 Magnum, if I had to say, there's something with enough muzzle energy that can still be shot accurately and controllable, maybe. If I had to say there's a handgun round that I'm technically a fan of. The 9mm is not a be-all, end-all either. It's been around for 75 years. People have been calling it inadequate since day one. It is what it is. But, we should have never ended up with the pussy Beretta because we should have stayed with 45s or adopted a 40. It's man, come on.
Stop it.
No. And anybody who talks shit about Berettas has never shot one. Not one time. Beretta M9, one of my favorite fucking handguns to shoot in the world. That thing is a laser pointer. Every single one of them I pick up. They're great. Yes, they're heavy and they're big, and my hands don't fit around it. Medium mechanics gloves are big on me, and I like to shoot the M9. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. So
Come on. They're great handguns. There's no reason they shouldn't be dicking around with my tax money trying to change handguns either. But that's a different rant for a different time. But no, we don't need a 40 in the military. Cops don't need to carry 40s because it's Jesus. And barrier penetration.
Stop.
Barrier penetration is a non-issue. If you need barrier penetration,
Get a long gun.
rifle. They do that. A 308 will make sand out of cinder blocks at 300 yards readily. If you need to shoot through car doors because you got bored of eating Cheetos and living in your mom's basement and posting on Glock Talk every 9 minutes, get a long gun. You're not gonna Didn't you say somebody said that they thought the 9 couldn't shoot through an interior door, but a 40 could?
A cop actually said that to my friend.
That a 9mm couldn't shoot through an interior door.
Yeah, that's why I bought it for
A
it.
9mm will shoot through the interior door, the molding of the door in the next room, and 2 more layers of drywall before it runs out of steam in an oak tree in your backyard. A 5.56 will stop faster than a 9mm will in barrier penetration. End of story. And 185 grain plus P45, forget it. You can shoot through 5 of them. You can shoot up a Home Depot to your heart's content. I promise. I promise. No, it's not any better at barrier penetration. It's not any better at anything. You get less of it, it costs more, and it does nothing else better.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the JV of guns. Stop it.
It is, I played JV tennis my junior year.
Okay.
JV of guns. Anything in 40.
Stop.
Anything.
It's no. Just stop it. The high point carbine in 40. No. That should never happen.
Sore subject. But
And we'll probably review one, but stop.
stop it. Please stop it. The 40 is no better.
Do yourself a favor, buy my 9mm.